spiritual, mental beings, we can expand. We could expand our reality by learning to grow our consciousness. We should not live by our childhood scope of ourselves, of God, the universe. For we all have a curiosity built into us that needs to find something new, or just to find. We have the ability to stay where we are or to move. Each one of us is given the right to mentally, emotionally, spiritually expand. If we are not expanding, it means that we have made a decision to rely on superstition and let our world be based on other people's beliefs, which we hold to be true. I often wonder, where did the first architect get the ability to design? Where did the first carpenter or plumber or mason or engineer got that from? It wasn't before him or her. But there is something in all of us that is always wanting to know. As creatures of need, whenever there is a need or an empty spot in our lives, we are empowered to search, to knock at every door, to ask questions, and to find out answers. Remember, as a little boy, I used to ask a lot of questions. And I used to get the answers based on those around me. And when I look back, as I was doing this lesson, I was looking back, God, I encourage a lot of dumb people around me. Because some of the answers, as I look back now, is just that they didn't know. And they told children a lot of stuff that a lot of children believed. Sometimes we ask, well, why is the sun up there and not down here? Because that's the way it is. Why are you asking so many questions? Can you remember those things? So it means that we all are seekers. We all have the ability to open our minds or make a decision to stay ignorant. We can stay dependent on others, or we could liberate ourselves, having the freedom to explore, to make mistakes, and to get it, always seeking to get it right. So why do we remain in this state of impotence? Why a lot of us continue to suffer and keep coming up with the same answer? Because we have made a decision to be ignorant. There is no need to be ignorant. It's a choice that you have made to be ignorant. This is a world in which the modern approach is scientific. Wisdom is organized knowledge. Information that I receive, that I go out and experiment with and gain understanding of the very principles that govern it. That is wisdom. A lot of us believe that going to school, go to university, and gathering information is wisdom. That's not wisdom. Wisdom is practiced knowledge. Knowledge comes to us from many, many sources. But we have the ability mentally to examine, to analyze, to judge before accepting. Many of us accept without judging and without critically thinking about what we have been told. So many of us are like children following the Pied Piper. We get into fashion, we get into different waves. So many of us are just waiting like a leaf on the ground for the wind to blow. So we blow in the direction that the wind is blowing. So today we are, and tomorrow we are, and the next year we will be. All dependent on the currents that are flowing through her. When we learn that we have been given power to choose, power to decide, power to think, and let the thoughts we think build our lives, things begin to change. But a decision has to be made to move on from this place or to stay and experience the same thing over and over, and always asking, how did this happen to me again? Because it's a decision that you have made. Jesus, in Matthew 6:33, he told his disciples, "Seek ye first the kingdom and its righteousness, and all things will follow." What does this mean to us? Let your mind search beyond the borders that you have artificially placed before you. Seek wisdom, and with wisdom comes understanding, and with understanding comes the abundance of all good things. Our text today is taken from 2 Corinthians 1 and 10. Samuel is rooted to be the wisest man who ever lived. I have a problem with that, but we can get into that at some time. When he was a young man, maybe in his 20s, he was called to be king. And it says that the Spirit of God came to him and said to Solomon, "What should I give you?" And Solomon answered, "Give me now wisdom and knowledge to go out and come before this people. For who can govern this people of yours, which is so great?" One of the first things that we need to do is to become open and receptive to the universal flow of ideas that is always before us, and seize the moment to engage in them. If we cannot have insights, there are people who have gone through, who have gone on before us and done things that we would like to do. seek their advice. Seek their advice. In other words, gather around you people who know, who have been there, who have experienced things and can share their experiences with you. Read books and look for the little nuggets of wisdom. Don't read like a novel. Like this book we are doing, some people have already finished. Without taking time, reading one line at a time. It's like a locust trying to eat a whole cornfield. Could only take one grain at a time. Try taking a grain at a time. You don't have to tell people what you have read. By your acts, they will know that you are read. If you keep making the same mistakes over and over, they know that you're dumb. I'm using words that you could identify with. You know what dumb is. But every time you get into a situation, do your own research. Take a little nugget and work it and come to know it, that it works. I remember in the 70s when I was going through my crisis, middle-aged crazy. You know, when you start to get into your 30s, you have all kinds of conflicts with your past, and the fight is internal. And I began to read people like Leo Buscaglia, Hugh Prather, all these people who were like into what they call popular psychology. I was looking for answers for the dilemma that I was in. And bit by bit, little things sank in as I began to make the changes in my life by using some of the information that came through books. So when you read, just don't go over it. Look at the words. Translate each word. If you don't know the word, go to the dictionary. No. And that's why you need people around you who have knowledge, who have wisdom. Don't go to the people you hang out with. They hang out with you because they know they can't help you and you can't help them. That's why. When a young tennis player starts to play tennis, she does not work out with people who don't know. That's just hitting the ball against the wall. No. You got to get a coach. No. An expert. Go to the experts. And don't depend on those who do not know. You always know those who do not know. They're loud. And they have to prove that they know. When somebody has to prove that they know they don't know. Trust me. Trust me. Humility comes with knowing. Humility comes with knowing. In the Beatitudes, Jesus talks about the meek and the humble. That means people who could say, teach me. I want to know. The boastful and those who set themselves on platforms, when the day of reckoning comes, they're hauled down. Don't be hauled down. In 2 Timothy 2:15, Paul says to Timothy, study to show yourself approved unto God, one who has no need to be ashamed. So when you open your mouth, they listen. Be one who studies. When they're out in the mall and doing all kind of stuff, you stay home. Spend a night with some books. Call somebody who your mind says to call because they know. Spend time trying to construct your life so you can enjoy it and not having to complain over and over. Every decision that you make has a result. When you choose rightly or righteously, the results come. And Jesus said in Matthew 7 and 8, ask, and it shall be given unto you. Don't be afraid to ask. And asking, the word ask is made up of 3 words, right? Ask, seek, and knock. In other words, always be a nomad looking for an oasis that could save your life. Always be adventurous, going forth, knocking at doors, seeking, asking questions to find out what you need to move you from where you are. The goal in life is to begin at one place and end at another. I remember there was a family that I knew. And I would always talk about them because they were an example of what I want to talk about. There were about 5 boys. They all got married, had their own homes, and went back to live by their mother. They died in their mother's house. What I'm saying, the child should never go home to where the parents are. You need to find your own place in life. Don't go back. Wisdom helps us to do what? Go forward to build a new nest that nobody else has ever built. And as I tell people, sometimes people come for marriage guidance and stuff. I say, don't go to your parents looking for advice. You don't want to repeat that pattern. And sometimes they get upset. How you mean, Mike? I say, your parents made mistakes. Your parents were not these giants that you thought they were. They had issues, just like you. And some of their issues rub off on yours. That's why you have a double dose of issues. You need to go to a place that you can build your life with new information that you could use and acquire wisdom from it. This is the story of life. You look all around nature, the little birds hatch from the eggs, and they're pushed out of the nest. And they can't go back home. They have to find from inside of them something in all of us that asks us to go forth. To experience ourselves fully, we need to go forth and create and be creative in everything that we do. Let's go to the book. On page 26. Knowing that wisdom awaits to be gathered, I will actively search her out. My past could never be changed, but I can change the future by changing my actions today. Let's take a look at that. knowing that wisdom waits to be gathered. Wisdom is insight that comes from within, information, and practice. All of that is awaiting me right now. So when I hear things, I begin to think, and suddenly something in me says, oh, that sounds good. Let me do some research on it. That's wisdom. I will change my actions today. I will train my eyes and ears. I will train my eyes and ears to read and listen to books and recordings that bring about positive changes in my personal relationships and a greater understanding of my fellow man. When I realized that, what they told me about Bianca is their impression about Bianca. That I need to get involved with Bianca and get to know her as I know her, not somebody tells me about what she might be. Then I get to understand that I can make up my own mind about people and things that are different from other people. That's wisdom. Simple wisdom is learning to make your own calculations and not waiting on other people to drive you. No longer will I bombard my mind with materials that feed my doubt and fears. Popular television, the Kardashians. Who wants to know what they have done? Take a life. Take a life that did something, that moved from where they were and achieved greatness. Take one of those lives and read about them, what they did to move on. Huh? Take a look at all these so-called stars. They all have more problems than you. And they're making more money than you. You know why? They have you to pay for their fantasies and pay for them. That's why. You could be your own star. You don't need to be out there in the lights. Wherever you are, you can be a star. Be different. Just be different. And people will notice your differences, and what will happen? They'll talk about you in a pleasant way. And sometimes it's so helpful when they start talking about you in a pleasant way. I will seek wisdom. I will choose my friends with care. Many are called, but I only choose one. How many friends do you have? Everybody that you meet? Every stray dog that comes into your life is your friend? Huh? There's a lot of people do that because they're lonely and they operate from that state of mind. So anybody come, that's my friend. I'm not talking about you, Bianca. I did that just now. I am who my friends are. Show me your friends and I'll tell you what you are. I speak their language. I wear their clothing. I share their opinions and their habits. From this moment forward, I will choose to associate with people whose lives and lifestyles I admire. Wow. Hang out with the best. Hang out with the best. When you invite people in your life, hello now, invite the best. When you sit down at the table to have conference calls and stuff, don't talk nonsense. It is not going to help you. You know, talk something that could impact upon you in a fruitful manner that you could go forth. You know, we have a term when we talk nonsense in Trinidad. It's called, but I can't say it. I just remember the words are not too nice. I will seek wisdom. I would listen to the counsel of others. The words of a wise man are like raindrops on a dry ground. They are precious and quickly used for immediate results. I need help right now. So the words that I am looking for is words not only of comfort, but to help me progress. You know, some of us just like to be comforted. Things are going on in their lives. All you need is, oh, I understand. It's not too bad, and you feel good. No, I don't want to feel that way anymore. I want to move on from where I was and come to a place that I could begin to enjoy life. Let's go over to the next page, page 27. They accuse me of not using the book. That's why I'm doing that. I have another lesson here planned, but they say I don't use the book. They bought the book and I don't use the book. I will seek wisdom. I will be a servant to others. The funny thing about service is, and I have said this to a lot of people who come to work here, the mere fact that somebody has asked you to do something, it means they have seen something in you that you don't even know is there. You should celebrate the asking and put all of your life into it, and you will discover things about yourself that you would never have known. So celebrate when asked. Celebrate when given the opportunity to serve, and realize that service enriches your life to the point that you become a changed person. A lot of us are just waiting to be asked so that we get the praise. Oh, you did a good job. You know when you do a good job. You don't need somebody to tell you that. That's what service means. Service means not to look back and hold grudges for 20 years because Evan didn't say thank you. Learn to give freely. As Jesus said, freely you have received, freely give. Okay. On the same page 27, he says, most people mistake wisdom for education like a high school diploma or a college degree. Seeking wisdom is not the same as gaining knowledge. Knowledge is a precursor to wisdom. Wisdom includes an intuitive element, an insight gained from personal experience that serves us as we make choices in our lives. And so sometimes, when you think you have failed, don't look at it as failure. Look at it as an opportunity to gain insight of yourself and what you're doing. Don't beat yourself down when things don't go the way you thought they would go. Celebrate the event and put your energy into another way of doing the same thing. That's how we gather wisdom. Ask anybody who is a technician. They try things and it fails, and they try it another way and it works. And they hold it in their mind. So 20 years they come across the same problem and they can switch from failure to success. Okay? Seeking wisdom should be a continuous process. The humility of the wisdom seeker is a defining characteristic of influence, wealth, success. What it is saying here is one of the characteristics of a wisdom seeker is they become influential. Sometimes you see someone who is just quiet and you brush them off. And for some reason, you sit close to them and you start to engage them in conversation and you are alarmed. Wow, this person knows. Wow, has that ever happened to you? Sometimes there was a gentleman who used to walk along Spadina. raggedy clothes. And one day in conversation with someone on Spadina, the person said, that man that is walking with the raggedy clothes is one of the most successful businessmen. Most of the buildings on this strip are his. You don't have to let everybody know that you have a 7x7 condo on Spadina. No, you don't have to brag. You just walk and people know because something in you connects with them. Just don't live to be a show. Don't live to be someone who has to tell everybody his or her business. I'm trying to work. I'm not accustomed working books. The past will never change, but I can change the future by changing my action. The past can never change, but out of the past and the wisdom gained from the past, I can change what my future looks like. So when I look back with praise and thanksgiving, thanking the universe for presenting me with all the stuff it has presented me with. And I have used the past to gain insight that could take me beyond this moment. So when you look back, you're not looking back with regrets. You're looking back with a smile on your face to see how fortunate you have been to be in those situations that you could appreciate now and keep moving forward as you go by. Let's get to another page here, and then I'll get back to my own stuff. He says that from time to time, you should engage in constructing your own life. Sometimes I go in my little storeroom and I pull out notes from 1976 that were important to me then. And I realize they're still important to me. And sometimes I want to take the whole 10 boxes and throw them out. And I say no. They're little nuggets. That's my library. I don't read a whole book. Like something draws me to a place in the book. And that little piece I work with for about a week, and I get it. That is wisdom. When you could go to a book or a piece of paper and draw something from it that can take you past this moment. That's gathering a library. Another thing he says in his book, he says, develop, I like this part, a board of directors or advisors who know more than you. Gather people around you, your advisors, who know more than you. If you know more than them, you have arrived at Deadwood State. You ain't going anyplace. So you should have a core element of advisors around you that you could check in with at any time just to ask a question. That's your board of directors, your advisors, those who help you plot your course in life as you move forward. Wisdom is there to be gathered. It just does not come because you say you are wise. No, it comes. It comes in little drops, little nuggets, as you move forward to experience your life. Stop depending on your talent. All right? During my time, there are a lot of people who Evan, I want to come and sing at Verity. And I knew them when they were like in their teens. And they had the talent. Because everybody would say to them how good they are. But they never practiced. They never practiced. So they remain with their child's voice, squeaking and cracking, and can't make the notes. What do you think, Evan? What do you think I should say? I'll get back in touch with you. Because sometimes you don't want to hurt people's feelings. So you have to let wisdom choose the words for you. Isn't that nice? Sometimes you try to encourage people, but those who believe that they have the talent more than anybody else, they don't want to hear anything. So sometimes you just have to say, I will see. I'll see. And move on. So wisdom, sometimes when you acquire wisdom, the words flow out of your mouth in the right way. This is also wisdom. Wisdom teaches you to speak right, hello, to act right, because why? You know that what you send out comes back to you. Have you ever sent out hurt? And it comes back to you? Greater than the way you send it out? Well, all of that is wisdom. This is why we as human beings, as we continue to apply the use of information, insight, and experience in our lives, we grow forth and become better people who can then do what? Help to direct the lives of the young people in our midst. We don't realize how important young people listen. That little child there is listening. Listening. Human beings don't listen. Suffer the little children to come unto me, Jesus said, for of such is the kingdom, because they listen. At a certain age, we come to believe we what? Say the word. Say it out loud. In chorus now, I want some tenors, some bass, and some sopranos. Come on. Because we know. As soon as you say you know, you stop learning. As soon as you say you know, you cannot grow anymore. So one of the things I would like you to do at this point with me is say after me. I have never come to this moment before. I have never experienced this situation before. So therefore, I do not know what to do. I listen to the insights that flow within me. I listen to experts. I read. And I gain wisdom that allows me to go forth. I know nothing. The universe holds everything for me. And I allow myself to let it flow freely through me. Do you really know? When you think about it, this universe has changed since we were in this place. Everything around us has changed. So a mind that remains open and receptive, which is meekness, gains the advantage of a mind that says, I know. So the key now is to open your mind and let the Spirit move through you so that you could come to know where you can go from this place. Richard, give me some music. So what I want you all to do is just sit quietly in your seat. Keep your hands free. Keep your body no tension. Take a breath in. And just let it out. Let in. And just release. Just tell yourself, I have come to this point with an open heart, an open mind. Whatever is going on in your life, know that it is not permanent. That the answers are all around you. Just tell yourself, I am switching my mind from problem to opportunity. God would never create a problem for me. But through the decisions I have made, I have been given an opportunity to change the course of my life. I do not blame myself. I do not blame others. For I know that in my hands are the keys to peace, to fulfillment, to health, to wisdom and understanding, and to the abundance of all good things. I make a decision that whenever an opportunity arises, I would seek wisdom Thou hast prepared a table before me in the presence of seeming adversity. But I know it's a table of goodness, brought before me for my growth, for my expansion, and for me to build a preferred future. I accept this moment as a moment of change, a moment of hope, As I build my future, I shall remain open and receptive not using the past but going forward in the full awareness of myself as a giant. Before me stands an infinite space of goodness. I embrace it. There is no doubt. There is no fear. I just know that I know the path before me is paved for success. I cannot go wrong, for my thinking is right. My words are right. My actions are right. My reactions are right. Through the power of love, I will draw the right people, the right information, the right situations to help me go forward. Yea, though I pass through the valley of seeming death and destruction, I know that my Redeemer, that in me that knows the future, is always willing and waiting to guide me through. Just let that peace of confidence rest upon you. I shall succeed. I shall prosper. And so it is. The drum.
I'm walking in power. I work in miracles. I live a life of favor. For I know who I am. I'm walking in power. I work in miracles. I live a life of favor. For I know who I am. 2.